Okay. All right, so today I wanted to talk about being perfect. The narcissist and being perfect, or you and being perfect. So let's jump in. So, in meeting the narcissist, you're going to find, at least over time, like in the very beginning, you start out as being perfect, whether you know it or not. You're what they call the ideal partner, or they idolize you. I think it's supposed to mean you're like the ideal, you're the ideal partner, but the more you say it, it sounds like you're their idol as well. And you are. Because in the first phase, especially the first cycle of the first phase, they have gotten infatuated. In the first cycle, in the first phase, they are infatuated with you. And what they see in you, you probably don't see. What they love about you, you probably think that everybody holds the same gifts or what have you. But they don't, or maybe they have the potential to, but they never cultivate them. At least the people they come to are people that cultivate the fruits of the spirit. They don't just have the ability to touch on them, but we have the ability to pour our hearts out, and to our own detriment, which is a bad idea. And when you heal, you won't do that again. Not to the extent to where you'll be abused and used and misused, and that's because you don't have enough self-love, and your boundaries aren't correct, and there's at least a bit of codependence. A lot of people would talk about codependence. The narcissist is completely codependent, and a lot of empaths are too. I mean, there are some at least, but I think most of the people I've spoke with that have dated narcissists didn't find themselves very much codependent, but they did have some. I mean, I think we all had a piece of that was codependency. But when you meet the narcissist, they're infatuated with your fruits, your gifts, and all that you are, that make you who you are. And you're perfect. And the way they see it is you're going to be the one to fix all of their problems and to heal them up and to take care of them. That's kind of the mindset they have. But I think the dark energy allows this to occur, or installs this in them. It kind of comes with the false self. Because that infatuation stage, that's a form of lust. And I call it a form of lust, but it also mimics love. It mimics similar to the vibration of love. So that's why they can get it misconstrued as love, and that's why we can as well. But I call it a lust because lusts are things that you crave, and they're not balanced. And lust come from an unhealed state, unhealed, unbalanced. Lust don't generally make you better. They usually degrade you. And in the case of this infatuation with the narcissist, it's a craving they have, but it gives them a high. So it is an addiction. And it also is short-lived. And that's how addictions are. So they get this high, you're perfect, you're going to fix everything about them, and then in 3 weeks, you're the worst thing in the world. and you're in devalue mode, and they're looking for a new partner. And this is how the cycle goes. And then when they come back after they left you for several months or however long their cycles are, when they return, they're going to re-idolize you. And that's to say they want to recycle you. Again, though, they think similar to cycle one, a bit of infatuation. And the dark energy controls them this way because it's short-lived, it gives them a high, and they're only there for the good times. And that's when people would call your representative, generally speaking, would be put forth, because you haven't done anything yet to get anywhere, to get beyond that point. But the narcissist does it all really fast, and they do it all in a short period of time. A lot of my cycles with my last was, 3 months tops. I couldn't go any longer, and couldn't trust them. They'd be always lying to you, never giving you any information about where they were. Your intuition is always pinging you, and and then they're talking on the phone a lot, especially with sometimes people they used to date or people they say are just some guy friend or something, and you're sitting right there. And these are things they do to get you jealous so they can use you to triangulate you later. But in their mind, it's like you're going to be perfect or you're going to be no good. You're going to be the greatest thing. You're going to be the greatest thing or the most evil thing that ever walked the earth. That's how it works. They call it the black and white. They're either all good or all evil, is kind of the way it is. They can never go into a gray area or into an area that most people in humanity, there's going to be days where your significant other is going to think you're great, but most of the time it's going to be the gray area. Or, it's going to have to be that, because life is long in that context. And I think we even have the potential to think like that in some ways. It's kind of like if you wanted to start a new hobby, or if there was maybe something that you were trying to get involved in and you start failing at it. You might, say you're going to go into it again and do it perfect, and then you try it again and you fail at it again. And it may get you to just quit. I guess that's my point. And so that could be an imbalance, because anything a narcissist deals with, we can deal with as well, and it would be called narcissistic, because we would deal with that trait from time to time, but they deal with all of those traits, or at least the top 5 for, always. They're ingrained, they're permanently imprinted, and our approach to it, our intent is not to hurt anybody. Their intent is to use and abuse. Even in the infatuation stage, they have this plan. They know it's going to happen, and they're planning it, because they can never trust, for one thing. They can never love. So you're just going to be an object or a tool for their use. They know they're going to leave you. They know they're going to leave you with hardships, depressed, and it's going to be foul the way they do it. And they know they're going to come back down the road. And they know they're going to be able to hoover you, because it's dark energy running the show. So they use, it's witchcraft. It's witchcraft. They get you confused first and steal your emotional field, throw theirs on you. And then they start to work their manipulations even more. And if they can get through one cycle with you, they're going to come back for another, and it's going to work generally. But not always, because we're not robots, they are. So you can never say for sure what an empath's going to do and when they're going to turn around, because that would be underestimating your opponent. But when it comes to the narcissist, we know they're snakes. And when it comes to devising evil, they're really good at it. They're really good at it. But outside of that, they're not too smart. And they get used a lot as well, because they don't have a whole lot of common sense, and a lot of times they're running off lust. So they're not very abundant either. So depending on their supply sources and what they can and can't get. And it's usually a big fluctuation. It's an up and down kind of life. But that's part of the problem with the narcissist as well, is you can't live a life where everything's all good or everything's all evil. You know, when it comes to relationships, friendships, even people that you work around, you may not call them friends, but there's some sort of an acquaintance to where they have to be, you have to feel comfortable on an even keel with them. And the narcissist isn't really much of an even keel. And if they do show that as a covert, they're going to not be that way inside at all. Their plan is to get you back, and that's where they can be real cool, calm, and collective, but best know they have it out for you. And that's where they can be very dangerous. That's why you just don't ever want to, once you know they're a narcissist, you want to run and never talk to them again. Because the narcissist is going to be always out for get back revenge and destruction in your life for their own benefit. And they're always going to be in competition with you to be on top, even if it destroys them and takes the whole ship down, and they're on it. As long as they're head and shoulders above you, to them, they can get fixated, and that's all they care about. So you don't want friends like that. They have nothing to offer as well. So you're going to be always, it's always going to be a negative reciprocity, even if it's a friendship. But they cause nothing but problems. And it's hard because when they come back, it can be very enticing if you're still coming off of that rumination. And especially if they have any kind of like the lust demons they carry, it's heavy, or that Jezebel spirit, it'll get you addicted to wanting to have intercourse with them. And that will be difficult because they'll throw it in your face, and they'll make it as easy as it can be. And if you have an addiction towards that relationship still, it could be very easy, at least in the early onset, of taking them back. Especially when you don't know anything about narcissism, or very little. But this is how the demon controls them as well. They come in, they're infatuated, they're on a high, everything is perfect, and then they're still doing dirt behind your back. They're still cheating and lying behind your back. They're still running a smear campaign. It just starts out easy. Starts out, you know, them gossiping about some of your bad attributes, or they may make them up. They could be some of their attributes, and they're just going to project their attributes onto you in the conversation. And or they always have an idea of a perceived threat. And that's the thing as well. All the narcissist needs is a perceived threat to pop into their mind for them to get in destructive mode with you. And that doesn't take long, and it doesn't take very much, because they live in a fantasy and they're always thinking foul, and they always got this demonic dark energy controlling them. So if you say something and they don't like it, and to you it may just be small talk or whatever, they may take it a certain way and decide you're a threat. And they may not show it right away. They may smile and keep everything looking the same, but in the background they're going to be planning your destruction. And you don't need people in your life like that. And they're very good manipulators. They play the role. They look pristine and they look like Mother Teresa, but they live double lives, multiple personalities and multiple different lives, and those lives are streets, y'all. It's gonna be the nightlife of the streets, prostitutes and illicit substances. Whatever time you spent with them, that's the thing, they love your energy, but they don't like if you hold them to a certain form of integrity. So if they have to have a certain kind of integrity to play the role and to act around you, then they'll do it. They'll do it because they want that energy. They want that chosen one source energy, or that grade A supply energy. So one of two things will happen. Either if they have a drug addiction habit, they may stop it, and the addiction may become you for a time until they can suck all your fuel off you. Then they'll go back to the old addictions, and it'll be completely unbeknownst to you. Or they'll just do it behind your back. But they all have addictions, and they all have another life that is completely different than when they're with you, that they don't want anybody to know about. It's like the woman of the streets or the man of the streets when they're not with you. And they're cheating on you. They're on all these different websites, all these fake names. They're incredibly evil people and very manipulative. So they're very promiscuous, and they don't use protection. They believe they make the best choices. So they just believe they're fine until they're not. And if they catch something, they're quick to wanting to hand it out to everybody they're seeing, so they can keep them stuck with them. Because if they had an STD and they give it to all their partners, then their partners will have a tough time after they break up with them finding a new partner, because now they have an STD. So they love to do that. It's a way of them nailing you down. It's like, it's very similar to them marrying you. An STD to the narcissist is the same as marrying you, or getting loans out, joint loans with their name and your name on it, so they can blow up the credit card, and then when they break up with you, tell you they're not going to pay for it. These are things narcissists do. But you can not be perfect for a narcissist, but for a short time, so they quit everything. They never do anything very long, including relationships. Because once you come off being perfect, you become the enemy. And they don't want to hear constructive criticism, or that they wronged you in some way, or that or they're not perfect. So that can only last for a few weeks. Then they leave. And if you like them a lot, when they start to come back, you're going to know that you got to walk on eggshells and just pamper them and please them if you want to keep them. Because the moment that you tell them they're not perfect in some sort of way, or correct them or give them constructive criticism, they're going to leave again. Thank you for watching.